Welcome to Podcast This Escape, the podcast where we talk about the escape room we escaped from in the previous episode of this podcast. Kirk, Ty, congratulations, you did it!
You uncovered the scandals! Very quickly, I might add. You were all over that harpist.
Oh yes, very early on, you're like, wow. As soon as Kirk was presented with a weird name, he went, I can anagram this.
It's so fun, like having another person here, and just having a different tool set, because anagrams. I think that it would have occurred to me. I hope eventually, but like if I was doing this by myself, it would have taken so much longer.
Oh yeah, it took me. I play tested this recently, and I think it was the last thing I got when I went. Okay, everyone needs something. Wait a minute, is this an anagram? Is Siegel James Gallagher? Raja's legal gem? I think I saw that Raja's legal gem was an anagram of Graham J. Siegel first, and then went to James Gallagher. But yeah, it was very nicely put together.
I love that you have that extra anagram in there to make it because like if it was just James, just the name of the harpist and the name of the Isadora's person.
Yeah,
then,
clearly that was enough for Kirk, but not necessarily something
not for a
that
normie.
Yeah, if they had just, you could have potentially discovered those like an hour and a half between one another. And so if that had, it would be so hard to make the connection. But having like another anagram right next to the name
that sounds
was very useful.
And there's something about that phrase, Raja's legal gem, is just so nonsense that, it's going to raise your hackles.
To mean something. And having those two together is nice because it lets you go. If you solve that, it's like you have learned that anagramming is a thing that this person does. And then you might think, is there anyone in... It's not Derryberry. It's not... Oh, my gosh, Gallagher. So...
The letter J is also good for that, I would say.
Yeah, because Raja's legal gem doesn't really, like, tell you anything.
No.
Other than, I guess he was a con man, which you already were assuming based on the story.
Yes, it might say that he has a bit of a jewelry fascination of some sort.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm wrong. You picked up on him being a suspicious character even before that.
Oh, yes, because he had a mustache.
Yes. So was it a real mustache or was it fake? That was one of the things I wanted to
It could be fake if you'd like.
Ask.
I'm pretty sure. So,
it was.
In the playtest, I got to that part where I had apparently made this specific mention of him having a mustache, and I could not figure out why I had put that in there. I can only assume that at some point I did intend that to be a fake mustache and end up revealed. And then that just got lost in the shuffle of unnecessary, so it turned into a real mustache that he grew over 5 years. But I think my initial idea was for it to be fake.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
Interesting.
So you can sneak into parties, then remove it and disappear into the night.
Precisely. Harp in hand.
Harp in hand.
Well, there's tons of non-mustachioed harpists, but there are a dime a dozen in this kingdom. But what with a mustache? That's so rare. You'll never find it.
There's also little bits where like he can clearly play the harp well enough to get by, but is not like a harpist harp. Like in fact, he doesn't have songs memorized, and he's like, "Oh, this is I can't really do anything else from memory." And then you give him the music, and he's like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty fast." But no, I can probably do this. Is again, I think, a bit of an indication of. He's not really a professional harpist. He's a professional thief.
Yeah.
Here under the guise of because he can play a bit of harp. So yeah, I like that as a kind of a character in this room. Did you have any moments? Obviously, I think that is probably a good standout moment for Kirk, but you might have others that you felt especially smart or proud of something you did in this room.
Kirk?
I like it. Ty, I got one. I think you should be proud of the tap dancing moment.
So happy.
I thought that was so brilliant. So that was the.
I was like, is this too crazy? Is this too crazy? And they're like, no, I don't know. Maybe am I being too silly?
This might be it.
It's exactly. I tell everyone before the recordings start, I like dumb solutions. I might have put in absolutely ridiculous things. And that's why I wasn't going to penalize you for using a crab when to pull out the nails when my intended solution was like crab pliers and grippy things. But what the hell? A crab's claw? What's the difference between a plier and a crab's claw, really?
Yeah. Where the crab's pliers like that you would like the
that you used to
utensil.
eat. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
Gotcha.
And so I think the only reference to that being there is in the, other than maybe I think where there are crabs, are there crab utensils? There is a specific mention in the description of the tables, like all the food and all the cutlery required to eat the specific foods that are on this table.
And they were whole crabs, and you even made a mention of him breaking the shell of a crab.
But I think using crab pliers is perfectly, like crab claw is a perfectly viable solution. Ty, you also had the early, well, this picture's wrong. I don't want to be rude, but what a dummy. To then have that turn around to be correct is a lovely moment.
I'm so happy. Pretty much exactly the same thing happened in the playtest.
Yes, I did.
Bill pointed out
so
the
funny.
exact same thing, and I had to be offended
Yeah.
until the right moment. So I was very happy about that.
That's so fun. You do a great job of selling, like, of not saying one way or the other, like not ruling this out as a possibility, but not hinting. Yeah, just not hinting one way or
It can
another.
be
You do a
difficult
very
because
good
I
job.
want you to feel rewarded at the right time, but I also don't want to say no because you have said something exactly right and smart, and I want you to know that as well. And trying to balance that out, it can be rough. And look, I really want to thank both of you for taking part in this. It's for me because improv and the roleplay side of things is the side that I would consider a weak point for me. You were sort of my guinea pigs for one of the rooms where I tried to lean into that more. So I appreciate that a lot.
And it was very nice for both of you. And I think it's part of the reason we tried to get the two of you on for this room in particular. Was that it was nice that you engage with the characterness of it and you stayed in character, and which I think worked very well for this room in particular, where you had to talk with people and be present at this party. So it was really nice to have that be an element that you could you
performed
engaged
absolutely to expectations and beyond. So I'm very happy that we got you.
Excellent. Thank you.
I thought it was really cool. Oh, just because it was so different of the puzzles. Like it was a different approach to the puzzles. And I just, when you said that it was going to be kind of role play heavy and like having to speak with these characters, I was like, oh, that's going to be interesting. I just really enjoyed it. I really thought, like Bill, I like when you do different characters and voices too. So it was just kind of neat to get to interact a bit and stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ty, you were going to say as well.
Oh, I was basically going to say the same thing. That it was fun getting a chance to do that, and I you could probably tell there were a few times when I was like, oh, am I going too far or too crazy? And I didn't want to like overstep. I could feel myself. I could feel like the urge to just go for it, and I had to like stop sometimes and be like, oh wait, no, offer this to Kirk. Let him have a chance if he wants to like go do this interaction. I recently, I mentioned in the previous episode that I, in preparation for this, did a escape room a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And it was a pirate themed escape room. And I very early on was just like, the pirates. Oh, I'm going to read all of these notes and stuff. All that. And then about 5 minutes in, a group of 6 people joined us who were all like late for the reservation.
Sure.
And I was like,
let's dial that one back a little.
Let me dial this back. Yeah.
They'll think that you're an employee.
Wow,
Yeah.
They've got one of them in the room.
Why is this professional actor from the escape room solving all the puzzles for us?
kind of rude?
It's a very difficult line to balance in this because I essentially have these characters and you can talk to them, but there is almost like a cue phrase. There is a right answer, which you wouldn't typically have in a role play scenario. Then that it's very challenging because, again, I want to accept you. I want you to be able, you're playing in this space, which is what I want. I love how you're working with it and I want to reward you for it, but I also need to get you to what I hope is the right answer because otherwise I don't know how flexible I've made this.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It's got this design of like, of there being a bit of improv to it, but not in that like, whatever you say, something will come of it. It still has to be a puzzle and a game in which no is a very important response, right? The idea of if you say something that he doesn't find interesting, it doesn't transition into more story. He goes, I'm not interested in that, and he walks away. And that way, if there's all these answers that there is a no to, it means that you will find the one answer to which there is a yes, which is do you like food? And that lets you get to the next stage. And so it was surprisingly easy for these characters because they were all completely uninterested in talking until you had the one right thing to say. So you could have improv for hours of like, oh, Lady Isadora, what do you think about poetry? And she'd be like, a fool's art for idiots.
Your
You'd be like, "Okay,
conversations with Isadora, absolute highlight. That back and forth between all of you, I really loved it.
That was very like the wordiness of it, and having to improvise wordiness is
I will
it's a
say,
fun thrill.
I was pretty proud to be able to pull out. They tried for pulchritudinous and ended up with calipiginous.
I don't remember what calipiginous
I really
means.
assumed you had that.
No,
prepped.
that was
I thought that was
off the
scripted.
top of
Oh, wow.
top of the dome because calipiginous means pulchritudinous means beautiful. It's the ugliest word for beautiful in the English language, and calipiginous means has a nice bum.
Does it really? I thought
Specifically about the
natiform is bum shaped.
I think calipiginous is in reference to a beautiful bottom.
Nice.
And so the banana having two bottoms
that's
made it
pretty
too
great.
calipiginous.
That's so good.
I think that is true. I hope so. But
How on
yeah,
earth do you spell it?
calipiginous. You know, as it sounds.
Sure, I've tried. A person with it's calipigus or calipigus, not pigus. Maybe there's no I there. But it is a person with well-shaped, beautiful, or finely developed buttocks.
There you go. See,
Excellent.
a double-butted
It's
banana.
my middle name, actually.
Ooh, it might be calipigian as well.
Yeah, calipigian, which is it's historically at that time
which is also
period.
like calipers.
Yeah,
the
like
roundness
the
of a
roundness of a
caliper.
butt of calipers.
Yeah.
Why not?
But it did improvising with the characters. It reminded me a bit of the Sierra game, The Colonel's Bequest, which is one of my favorite computer games. It's a mystery, and you have to talk to the suspects about different stuff. You can ask them about blank. And like a lot of times they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm not interested in that," or you'll be like, "Oh." I don't want to spoil any of it, but like, yes, the sailboat. That's a very important thing. I got a story for you about that. So when we talked to, was it Richard about the painting? And I just really love, I don't know. I just really love the story. It's fun watching.
Yeah. There's also, that's a thing that I really like in that. So there was this transition in adventure games from text parser to point and click. Right. And so you have these old ones where it's text parser. And the beauty of a text parser that you do lose a little bit with a lot of when they transition to point and click is that conversational thing. And there's a perfect example of the game Quest for Glory, the first Quest for Glory game, which was released as a text parser game. And then like 4 years later, they re-released it as point and click. Now, if you buy it,
still mad about it.
If you buy it now, you it defaults to the point and click version. Please never play the point and click version. It also looks much uglier.
Yeah,
they made it so brown
they did
and
the
beige and whatever, and it's just not fun.
Yeah, the standard thing where you remake something until you dull the colors of it.
Yeah, like the original, everything's like pink and purple. And it looks beautiful, but that difference is like when there's just a conversation point and click, they usually give you a list of all the things this person does know about, and you click them and you learn all the things. But with the text parser, you had to be like, oh God, I could ask them anything. I just, it's ask about. What do I ask them? And you have to try and think a bit more of like, well, I could ask literally any word. Is there something this character would care about? Do you know about Baba Yaga? No, you wouldn't, of course. And so you don't just click through the list. You have to like think about what you might want to ask them. And I think this feels a bit more like that, right? You can ask them anything, but it's like, what is their specific thing? Let me try and think. What do they want to talk about? And I like that. I think it's a fun element. It feels more like you're really engaging with it, and I like that.
The other element that I'll say, you weren't guinea pigs in this way, but it was a big old gamble, and thank you for showing some, I don't want to say mercy, but some help with it. I have given you my art. I do not, my art is at, a relatively amateur level, shall we say, and I have to give you these pieces of art that I have drawn and ask you to find things that are wrong with them.
What did I do
and
wrong?
hope that you don't just say, well, that chair looks crap. And just like you have the opportunity to skewer everything about them, which you would be well within your rights to for a whole lot of it. But so thank you so much for finding the things that I would hope that you would find.
Excellent.
The double buttered banana is a challenge. That was a tough one, both to draw and to find.
That was
But
tough. I found that difficult.
The star though, Ty, that was like another star for you, like a brilliant moment from like that you saw it right away and had mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's a thing. I never would have like. This is why you don't do an escape room by yourself. I'd never in a million years be like, well, that's what it is. And it is also very Donald Sobel, like Encyclopedia Brown, Dr. Helegian. And I just, I was so entertained and enjoyed you solving that and that being the puzzle or whatever, the trick of that painting.
Yeah, that was
just great.
Was there anything else? If I were to brainstorm right now, is there anything that I could use for like just the fruit still life that could match the level of that star behind the moon looking wrong? Just something that is obviously a bit more obviously.
If you think about the natural world, here's the thing that people get wrong. I wonder something that you think a piece of fruit might operate in a certain way and it doesn't, or something that you'd have to maybe have a fruit that's like cut open, like have an orange but have the seeds arranged like apple seeds inside.
Oh my god!
You know how apples have that little like ring of seeds inside.
Oranges don't.
Oranges have the seeds randomly placed within each of the segments, but like so maybe you could do something odd like that, or an apple that has
Oranges
no
also
seeds
don't
inside.
Have black seeds.
Yeah, just some.
Just an orange with black
the wrong
seeds.
color of seeds somewhere.
It's fun.
Ooh,
you could maybe do that.
Kind of like that.
Something maybe where you have the inside of a.
This might be the final podcast version, but who knows if it will remain the final version of the room. Yeah, I might keep fixing it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just going to have weird fruit things bouncing around my brain for the next couple of days.
Have a strawberry and then an arrow that points to it says, "This is definitely botanically also a berry." And then people go, "Wait a minute, actually."
Excellent. I was very happy with your interpretation of the thing, going, I think this is an eating contest that we're seeing here, based on sort of what we're seeing, but the title also definitely helps because was obviously exactly what I was going for. And I was really trying, as I drew that one, to make sure that there was some way of doing it that wasn't just a banner at the front that said eating contest.
Yeah. I thought it came together well. One thing I think you didn't quite register or didn't interpret the same way that we intended on the Four Seasons picture is that you have the winter, which is pretty clearly a winter, and then the two suns, the one on the right that is sort of yellow and just peeking up into a sort of darker sky is meant to be a sunrise explicitly.
For the east.
And the one that is going down with that orangey red color is like the sunset, the color of a sunset as opposed to a sunrise, being therefore with water and a sunset behind it, showing that is definitely a West Coast picture. And therefore, that is the west side.
Turns out it's not always easy to differentiate as an amateur Procreate artist which one's a sunset and a sunrise. I really tried. I scribbled so many colors. I thought the sunset looked pretty sunsetty with the oranger sun, but sunrise, I struggled with that.
Am I the only person on this call that did not realize that there were particular colors associated with sunrise and sunset? I've always assumed that it was the same.
It just, maybe in
I
the
feel
real
like a
world
sunset
to an extent,
is
but
redder and oranger.
Vibes. They're just a different vibes. Sunsets are more like red going into deep purple, except at the start of Lion King, because Lion King's beginning, I feel, uses that color for the sunrise.
It could just be that we keep to a podcaster schedule and we haven't seen a sunset in years. Sorry, a sunrise in years. A sunrise is not part of our life. It's always up by the time we are.
I did have a question. Going back a bit to the having more NPCs, more characters that we can talk to. Bill, you mentioned that the personalities of these characters, where they were fairly standoffish people, they didn't particularly, they weren't particularly friendly, or they were busy or whatever, made it easy to role play them and to postpone us until we landed on the trigger phrase. Was that something that you were thinking about, Danny, when you were writing the characters?
In general, yes, but I also know I knew that I wasn't going to be being these characters in the end. So anything that just wasn't written on the page, I could just rely on Bill to handle it appropriately and deflect or just leave and not answer where necessary. But my notes are essentially, here's one thing for if you're just sort of observing them from afar. And here is a thing for if you bring up food to Richard, if you bring up dancing to Robert, if you bring up art to Isadora. And those are largely it.
Yeah, they really are just, here's the thing that is correct, and anything else is just, it'll be something. Don't worry about it.
I could have have a bad conversation and written some action and some dialogue for what would happen there, but I trusted you for this one. This will be for the people who don't mind, for the game masters who don't mind getting more improv-y with it.
Yeah, and there's also, if you don't want to be improv-y at all, it could just be you say, oh, can I talk to Isadora about, what the weather? So she doesn't want to talk about that. Oh, can I talk to her? Just, no, don't. And then you might find the topic that way. So if you don't want to play it out as, depending on who your players are and who you are and how you like running them, it can also just be, whatever you decide to talk about, and just same thing. She treats you like she treats the people in that description, right? Yeah. She says something wordy and then walks away.
But I felt standoffish was a better idea than them being open to whatever conversations you'd want, because that just feels more like you have got a puzzle to solve there. It felt like the only way to keep it still feeling escape roomy.
Because it is interesting because we do something very different with Solve This Murder, right? When we're doing murder mysteries on our second show, that everyone is willing to talk, right? That doesn't have that sort of puzzly solution of if you say exactly the right thing to these people, they will have this exact conversation. It's much more open. It's much more character driven, and most of them are characters who are there to talk to you, and that is it's a different style of gameplay. It's explicitly in the way we've designed that. Not meant to feel like an escape room where there is one particular puzzle-based solution to being able to engage with these people. So that leaves you with this world of engagement where instead for that we have, here is a list of truths about this character and what they know, and then it's a much more natural flow to it. So we do work with that type of more open conversation, but explicitly that is designed so it doesn't feel like an escape room, whereas this one should. And so it's trying to find a way to have characters and have it still feel like...
This is not proper role-playing, and it's in what you would normally expect from it.
Just with people.
It's like what Murderville is to role-playing.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the particular thing. They might have a little monologue to say where you go, great, I got the clue out of that monologue. Not what we would do with our murder mysteries. So it's a different way to
it's a tough balance, and I don't know if I'm entirely satisfied with where I've ended up with it yet, and how I would try to balance them out more, because it just might not be my skill set.
But I think this works nicely in this room.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not saying it doesn't work,
Danny,
but...
it's interesting. Like I never thought about it listening to Solve This Murder. Like I don't think about the writing or I'm just enjoying it. But it is a very different feel from this episode. And
I just want to make sure that anyone who
can see the difference between them.
Yeah, I want to make sure that anyone who can come into it, listening to this episode, doesn't feel like it didn't match the expectations that were set up for it, which is a little bit difficult. And that very well could have been the case for you guys, because we definitely pitched this to you as, this one's a bit more role-play than puzzly, which is definitely true. But if you were going into it with all of your role-play experience and going, this will feel like that, you might have ended up disappointed.
That's true too, yeah.
So yeah, trying to.
But I also had listened to the first episode of this arc.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, I had talked to Bill beforehand about okay, so this is a continuation of that arc. That episode has come out. Episode 2 has not come out as of this taping, so I don't know what happens there. And we're episode 3, so I was like, oh, it's probably in that world. And I don't know. I was really, really digging it. I was like, yeah, it does. It has. I don't know if it's also just the setting, this kind of medieval-ish setting does lean to me like a role-playing game, like because so many of those are fantasy-based, or in like a medieval time. But yeah, no, I really, really dug it. I was so psyched that this was going to be a continuation of that, and I am excited to see the full arc, the full story.
Yeah, like, I'm so glad to hear that. Any thoughts, speculations about where it could be going from here based on the limited knowledge? And Bill, you have a bit more to contribute.
It's only 5 episodes. This arc.
Okay. And Bill has no idea what the next 2 are.
No, so I'm in a similar boat.
That's a lie. I've given you a 1-word clue for the next one.
Oh, I've already forgotten it. But yeah, so in my head, if we're doing 5, right? Like it's been 3 different heirs to the throne as of now. My thought is maybe there's one more heir, and then like a complicating thing that happens in the 5th one, like. Maybe the king comes to you and he's like, kill my children, kill them with this gun. I have no idea. But something that like takes those 4 and tries to resolve these 4 standalone stories into an interesting 5th part.
I'm gonna counter predict.
Sure. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Love it.
Prediction. I haven't listened to any of this arc yet.
Sure.
So that I'll say up front. So perhaps what I'm about to say has already been proven wrong. My prediction is first 4 are all like this, where you have different heirs that are preparing to present like, hey, I should be the heir of this throne to the king. And then the 5th one, the people playing are playing as a 5th heir who is trying to basically compete against all 4 of those people.
I love
the secret
that.
cousin.
Prove themselves as the true heir.
Yeah.
The illegitimate child.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice one.
I
have
shall
a
never
prediction.
tell. Oh, yes.
Well, here's the thing. If I'm right, I don't know, edit this out or something. I don't
No,
know.
we'll
because I
edit
don't
it
want
in
to
double. We'll double it up. If you're right, there'll be an echo.
And at the end of episode 5, we'll play it over and over again.
Okay, so I have to sound really good for audio then. The first one, to me, I felt it was very knight heavy, KNIGHT. And so let me preface this by saying I definitely went off a few wrong paths, like thinking that
Sure.
the paintings, the titles didn't have anything to do with it. It wasn't the numbers on the hands or fingers. So I could be off here, but it was knights. And I was like, well, what are there 5 of? And now I'm like thinking maybe it's 4, and then that 5th is the finale. But there's like a knight, there's a queen, there's a king, a pawn, and a rook. And so I was like, is this a chess theme, like an overall chess thing? Because we are playing in a way a type of chess with this, the heir to the crown. And then the final piece, the 5th piece, is the king. And so I thought maybe that's something, but like maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't have a pattern because I haven't seen episode 2. And then this one, I would not be like, that's clearly the bishop episode or the pawn episode. It's not, it doesn't have a strong thing for that.
One way or another, like, I'm not going to actively confirm or deny anything that you have said, but I really like going into mini arcs, especially with thinking in that sort of way. And for the final podcast, This Escape, I will be very excited to talk about it. And it might come out in ways that other people could not possibly see coming. But there are things, and this, I won't say too much more than that.
No, I can't wait. Well, then I have to wait like 6 episodes.
I do have a counter prediction. My counter prediction is it's not chess, it's checkers. And in the 5th episode, we get to the end and they say, "King me," and then they become the king.
You just stand on top of the king.
You stand on top of the current king.
You're the king,
and then you
but
become
you're
the king.
bigger.
Yeah, exactly. That makes more sense to me. Wonderful. Well, look, thank you so much for coming on and joining us for this episode. It was really great to have you on. I think you did very well being in character and having fun and solving the puzzles. It was really lovely. If people wanted to check out other things, Kirk, do you have anywhere that you wanted to send people to check out? Get their kids watching a show that you're writing for.
Yeah, where's like a cool? Well, okay, yeah. If you have kids, like small kids, I currently write for a show called Leo the Wildlife Ranger and another show called Paula and Pals. I don't know what they license it everywhere, so it's probably on Apple, it's on Amazon, but I just watch them on YouTube. I mean, that's if you have little kids and they want to learn about animals or if they want to learn about friendship. And then later, the new season will be coming out later this year, next year. Also, I'm on the internet. I'm on Blue Sky, as Kirk says. And I'm, you can find me on the Consume This Media Discord
hanging around
as Kirk, and or on the what's it called, the Finish It Discord as Kirk. Whatever, I don't know what my name is there. Something Kirk weird. Just for some cool internet guy stuff.
Lovely. And then Ty, where should people go if they want to hear more Ty?
Yeah. So,
other than the first season of Digimon.
My brother is named Matt.
Oh, wow, there you go.
Yeah, very, very Digimon focused.
And your cousin is a naked Digimon.
But yeah, if you want to find more of me anywhere, go to your podcast app. I know you've got it open right now. That's how you're listening to this. And look up Side Character Quest. I think that you should probably check out. I mean, if you want to go in order, you can go in order, but that's years ago. If you want to get a good sense of like what the show sounds like now, I would say start with episode 101, Fair Haunts the Abbey. It is here's a little bit of spoiler. Skip ahead 15 seconds if you don't want to hear this. It is a murder mystery. And it's very, very fun and good, and it's a good introduction to like the world, but it also functions totally by itself. So if you just want to listen to that quest and never check out the show again, you will get a complete story.
So there'll be links to all that in the show notes. And thank you also to everybody who's listening at home. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun with the episode. Look, classic thing I say it every time, but if you want to help support the show, tell someone about it. Spread the word, jump online or in person, get people listening to the show. Word of mouth is still the best way to help grow a podcast, so it's always appreciated. You can also help support us on Patreon, which is how we fund the show. We don't run ads, we don't do anything else. We fund the show and our lives through crowdfunding. So thank you everybody who supports us there. Anybody at any level of donation can appear as an NPC in one of these rooms. There are a few in this one.
Yeah, so thank you so much to Anne Sutton, our princess, Robert McAlavey, Richard Derryberry, Queen of the Lizards. I gave you the name Isadora. I made that one up because I thought it was a cool name and I thought you needed one. James Gallagher and Prakash. All of you, our donors for this episode.
Thank you for having a rearrangeable name, James Gallagher.
Yeah.
But there's also a whole bunch of bonus stuff we already mentioned in the episode. It probably made it to the final edit. There's probably at least one reference to the fact that there's weekly audio episodes for our $5 donors, including us solving Encyclopedia Brown mysteries and 2-minute mysteries by the same author. There's all the playtest audio if you want to hear me playing this room. There is weekly Charmed recap videos for the TV show Charmed from the 90s, which I don't know, it's not really part of our brand, but it's just very, very fun. That's for our $10 donors, as well as monthly videos. There's cryptic crosswords, possibly a new weekly cryptic crossword for $20 donors. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff. So go and check it out there because it's a nice way to support the show, keep it free for everybody else, and also get some fun extra bonus stuff while you're there. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you again, Kirk and Ty, for coming and playing the room.
Much.
Thank you, Danny, for writing
Thank you for
a great
having
one.
us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
This has been great.
And that's it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.